All right. You're welcome to another episode of this wonderful program. We started off last week talking about competence and value. And yeah, my co-host here is Mr. Daniel. So welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, and this has been a very wonderful journey. So if you have not watched the last episode, I will encourage you to do so that you can see the great things we have said, and now you can improve yourself. Now, we've been talking about competence and value. So I want to ask, sir, based on the last episode that we talked about, we lay a foundation about the competence, about the values, and we said some things. Can you do a little recap of what we actually talked about last week?
Okay, during our last episode, we established the fact that values makes a man marketable,
Yes.
makes a man tradable, that it is more or less the most important purchasing power in the world today. The world isn't looking for religious affiliation in order to promote their enterprise. But what is most important is values and how competent you are. So
Okay.
the emphasis actually now is not on background. It's not on where you're from or certain organization you belong to or religious body that you belong to. You can belong to any religious body.
Yes.
But the point is, how valuable have you become? That will make you to cut across borders.
Yes.
So you become internationally relevant, locally valuable, locally marketable, internationally dependent. So everything revolves around what you are able to put in you to get to that level of becoming tradable and marketable. So that's the cause of what was discussed in our last episode, and I want to believe that it was worthwhile.
Yes, very, 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 because we have actually seen the secrets of how you can be valuable. You know, a lot of people believe that to everything in life there should be a shortcut, and they have failed to realize that anything that is shortcuts will end up cutting you short.
True.
Because what does not have a root that is deep down, when any storm comes, it will reveal your weakness and take you off. But for you to become competent, it helps you to become rooted, whether in your profession, whether in anything that you want to do.
Yeah.
Even let them go around and look for all the mediocres, because you are competent and you have value. Because when you are competent, it brings value upon you automatically.
True.
Because it makes you to be more tradable. It makes you to stand out. Because the years you have gone through to become competent has made you to be disciplined, has made you to be valuable. So no matter where you find yourself, you will always stand out. You understand?
Yeah.
So today, what do you have for us today in regards to what we have been talking about?
Okay. What we'll briefly just talk about today, in addition to what we've looked at already, talking about value, stay in the same line of value. Let's try to look at how we can obtain value. You know, it's easier said to say, okay, be valuable.
Yes.
Someone can easily look out for that. Put together makes me valuable in relation to my either profession, my discipline, my area of strength. So these are questions that will be begging for answers.
Yes.
So it's just like someone telling you, you need to be educated. You need to get a degree. Now the next question is how? Where do I start from? Which school is best for me? You know, so that is how we navigate. So the how to get to a place becomes the most important pathway to getting to where you want to get to. You know, because you can know where you are going to, but how to get there, you will get there.
Yes.
You will get there. So that's exactly what we want to be looking at. So if you want to now look at that, the beginning of how you get value is understanding who you are first. Who you are is the beginning. You know, if you don't know, for example, I have to first of all realize that I am something
Yes.
worthwhile for me to begin to harness. Because the truth is that whatever that a man will become in life is strategically designed, that there is a certain strength in a man that will help that man harness that.
Sure.
So if you have not discovered that, no matter what will bring your way, because you've not discovered who you really are,
Sure.
you will not be able to maximize that provision. So there will be a lot of provisions around us. Just like now, look at us now. So many young people are making strive to go abroad. So many people are trying to travel out of their various countries to different places. Oh, in Africa, there are so many economic challenges. True, no doubt. But do you know, still in Africa, there are so many benefits, so many advantages are yet to be explored. Now, let's ask ourselves the question: why is it that the white men, you know, the Europeans, often leave their place or their places and come back to Africa to get the raw materials that we don't even take note of, and we here we leave those raw materials and those values, and we
Go
go
for the end product
to end product
and still buy it for more money.
Exactly. So what is the problem? The problem is that these people that will leave their sphere, their area of sphere, without discovering who they really are, that will make them valuable, they will continue to be slaves
Yes.
to a finished product. So because the values are there, but you've not discovered who you are. So
Sure.
who you are, discovering who you are becomes a major step to realizing your value.
Sure.
So how do I become valuable? Number one is to realize who I am. So who are you? It's a very big question. Yes. Who are you? Young man, who are you? Young lady, who are you? So you ask yourself the question, stand before the mirror and ask, who am I? I'm over 30, 20, 40, 50, depending on your age. You ask yourself the question, who have you been all this while? And is that in relation to who you really are? What has it become? What is the difference? You know, have you been able to realize your true self? Because realizing your true self, like I said, becomes the necessary first step to maximizing and realizing values and getting to that place of valuable. So remember the question we asked. We asked the question that how do we become valuable? You know, we are talking about, oh, you must obtain values, you must be valuable. How? So how now start with how am I? How do I realize that? You know, you see, show me a man who has discovered who he is, and I will show you a man who is confident of what he wants to become. You can see, you see a man who relatively have low knowledge of what is around, yet he has not really realized the beauty of what will happen. The little knowledge he has about his environment, about the opportunity he has, you will see him maximizing it, and then running cycle around a man who has everything at his disposal but has not discovered who he is. You see the difference now?
Sure.
So that's why we can see a man who is opportune, a young man opportune with, he has a wealthy background. His parents, you know, from a very prudent background. Well, affluence, great affluence. But the child will never amount to anything because, number one, he has already discovered who he is, but there's opportunities around him to succeed. So he will never succeed. So the young man who does not have the privilege of having that affluence, but discover who he is really, will run cycle round the man who has all the opportunities but has not discovered.
Sure.
So we can see that the most important thing to do first
is identifying who you really are. And that has been a very cogent question that are yet to be answered by many all over the world. Do you know that somebody said that, and I quote, that when he sees crisis, he does not let the crisis go. He stays in the car because he knows that the solution to that crisis is buried in it.
Yes.
So if you don't pay attention, you cannot be able to, and you have to get something from that crisis.
Exactly.
Because that crisis, that's what the Holy Book says, if you fail in the day of adversity, then your strength is very small.
Very small.
Because the adversity has not come to pull you down.
Yes.
Yet it has brought fire. But the fire is not to burn you. The fire is to refine you. The fire is to shaping you so that you can be able to fit in the future you're about to feature in.
Yes.
So, but a lot of people discover that, oh, I cannot, oh, I don't have the time, oh, the country is bad. I'm not disapproving that the country is not bad. But the question is this: do you know that in the midst of this bad situation, a lot of people are excelling? Now, the question is, how can I know how to excel? The question is, you have not been able to identify who you are. Because when you don't identify who you are, somebody else will, and somebody else will take advantage of it. That's why a lot of people, there's a lot of new age slave trade. Brain drain.
Exactly.
Oh, people can say everything about Nigeria, but some people still find it very insulting to carry themselves and go and sit in another man's land. Because number one, realize something: you can never be treated as a first-class citizen.
Yeah.
Not even a second class.
Yeah.
You will always be treated like a third class in a country, and you'll be fed with crumbs.
Exactly.
But imagine what you are trying to struggle for in your own home country. You don't want to do it because you feel, oh, it doesn't befit you.
Exactly.
Why didn't you sit down and ask yourself, why am I here? Where purpose is not known, then abuse is inevitable.
True.
And this is what has led a lot of young people of the generation to go into drugs. Because when you don't know yourself, you will go into drugs.
Yes.
Because you want the drug to reveal
Your true identity.
Hiding behind a substance. Now, the Holy Book says faith is the substance of things hoped for, but the evidence of things not seen. So, in the real world, and you cannot go to God without having faith. That is, you must believe, number one, that He is the sovereign God. You must also believe that what you're going to in for is able to do it.
True.
Now, bringing it down to these drugs is a substance. It makes you go high. It makes you believe who you are and what you are actually not. So giving you a falsehood of a pseudo look about yourself, thereby destroying you.
Yes. Very correct. Very, very correct.
But in the other way, you can have faith in Him that created you. And you can have is the one that will reveal your true identity. Now, when He reveals your true identity, number one, you ask yourself, how do I need to do drugs to reveal my fake identity?
Of course.
Which would definitely be destroyed. So when He who created you reveal your true identity, now you are not going to be geared. Your energy, your strength will be geared towards that true identity. Oh, they said I'm going to be an engineer. Oh, they said I'm going to be this. What do I need to do? Oh, I have the strength for this. I have the strength for this. You begin to harness and put it together.
And you see now, what you just said now is true. Those strengths are now directed towards a specific energy, which of course is anchored on who you are.
Exactly.
So imagine an engineer who has discovered at level that, oh, I'm an engineer. Potentially,
yes.
How do I reveal it? Potentially now I need to bring it to a kinetic level at work.
Yes.
And now direct, just like you said, all the energy is channeled to that. So energy is not dissipated.
Yes.
They are all
and when you direct an energy to something, no matter how, because it's the nature. You don't know whether you are a Christian or not.
Yes.
It's a nature. It's something that has been embedded in nature.
True.
When you focus your energy on something, it will bring it out.
Exactly.
And that is where your competence comes into it. That is where you generate your competence.
Yes.
Because your competence cannot be derived without discipline.
Yes.
Because in your directing your energy towards a particular thing, even if it's wrong, you will get something out of it.
Yes, it will come out.
And you get what I'm trying to say. And there's this song that when we were back in the school, I think it was the late Taishalan, he said, "You can become whatever you choose to be." You can become whatever you choose to be. So if you choose to be somebody great, no matter what comes your way, you will become it.
Exactly.
So the power of becoming can only be derived in the area where you focus and direct your energy in becoming something. That's the competence is. So what are we saying in a nutshell is this: Don't get swayed away by this act of get rich quick scheme. Anything that comes like pew, pew, the same way it will go. Pew, pew. I remember one thing. The thing that comes so quick and that goes like that, the original that is meant to come will not be able to come again.
True.
Because the energy that is needed to get the actual thing has been dissipated on the fake thing. So therefore, it will not come again. That's some people they oh, this person has affluent for a few times and never again. A wealth that will last cannot be birthed on something that is quick.
Yes.
Competence cannot be derived on a quick
platform.
Values cannot be derived on something that comes in like that.
It takes time.
Yes, it takes time.
It takes energy.
Yes,
It takes focus. And it takes discipline.
Now, what have we taken out of here in this episode? We focus on something, discovering who you are. Now, how to channel their energy to becoming somebody competent and at the end of the day, somebody valuable.
So you becoming how you find out what you are or who you are is looking at a silent area of strength that is right in you, crying out or silently screaming somewhere for an attention. Sometimes some authors have, in the course of trying to find out how people identify strength, they said that a few authors have noted that you will look at some areas in your life where you derive utmost satisfaction and ease at work. When you do it, you find pleasure, you find satisfaction without being coerced. So you do not need anybody to coerce you. You see, some people they draw when they pick a pen to draw, they can practically, realize an image, a real life image. They will put it down and draw it as if it's a replica without being forced. Such a child, you take the child to school and you see a teacher laboring over the child over some issues and here and there, and the child seems difficult to comprehend, as beautiful as those things. And when you get to a particular field, you tell them to write. You see the child writing effortlessly. And you ask, how did you learn to organize this? I just don't know. I just know that I can organize. I just can do this. I can do it like this. That's a pointer. Something is telling you, something is there. You say in most developed countries, this is what some of them used to do in their institutions. They look at how young people, and so they develop these young ones in their area of strength by identifying. It might just be very little. It might just be something that we look at as not important. You see, some of them are very good at they are powerful oratory. They can coordinate very well and speak. You say, this is going to be a leader. He's going to lead people and channel their energy rightly. He might not be able to do it, but he can galvanize people's energy resources into doing it. That's pointing to leadership. And when you see you having that drive, do not waste energy trying to pull or trying to do what you know you have not been graced for. Because if you don't have that grace, let's use the word now, in that thing that you are dissipating your energy on, a time will come you will realize frustration sets in. Because you are not enjoying it, you are just enduring it. So just enduring it. You get in there, everybody is okay. Everybody said they want to become doctors. I want to also become a doctor. That's today we have Google doctors.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Just because they were coerced by their parents or because or by the economic influence of doctors. They can be very financially stable. Okay, you can have opportunity here and there. Let me get into this. And then you put everything, whether you know it or not, some of them get. It is also the cause of why we have malpractices here and there. Because someone that is comfortably doing what he is graced to do does not need anything to support him. Because he knows this is his area of strength. He can do it. If you show me a man who is relatively comfortable doing what he is graced for, I will show you a man in the next few years who will become a leader in that field. The economy is diversified. It's having different aspects. So, and all of us cannot be one thing. Everybody must find the area of strength. The Holy Book will say there are several members in the body, that all of them working together, achieving the same goal. So it means that for the same goal to be achieved, God, who is the creator of every one of us, understand that he must ask the question rightly, or rightly ask the question, is by looking at those things that you find relatively fulfilling.
Yes, easy to do,
It's you find it,
and you don't have to struggle, but
don't
it's not,
struggle.
it's not common with
It's
everybody.
not common, and you see, and what you think is easy for you, let someone else try it. You not see that, but why are you struggling with this thing? Instead of it, no, it's your strength. That is why that person is struggling to do it. So just to know it, you can say, how come? It's very easy for me to tidy up the house. It's an area of strength. I've seen people who went ahead to set up a laundry firm, and they become great and mighty people because they observe that they like to see things tidy. Any clothes they can identify how a clothes can. They know how to arrange a certain set of shirt. They will press it, and then young people, these are strength. You must not become what's it called now? A lawyer because your dad is a lawyer. If you become a lawyer because your dad is a lawyer, don't worry. You will start carrying files everywhere looking for who will give you a job or somewhere.
Exactly.
And nobody's going to give you anything because it's not your field. You have left your strength. So this is how you identify who you really are.
Sure.
And you become valuable. There are some certain people again. You see, this thing come in different forms. There are some people again, you see that when you give them just a little assignment, you say, okay, can we have this place in a more organized form? Let's see if we can. All these people, everything is too rowdy. Can you just come and say, okay, let's take a number 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, take this number 2. And you say, everybody take a number. No matter how many. After a while, you say, all these ones set this way. Now you do this, you did in less than 5 minutes. All the rowdiness calm down, and you sit back. This is a strength. This is what people cannot just ordinarily do. Then you know that this person has a leadership quality. He has an ability to coordinate. He has an ability for staffing. So at the end of the day, that strength, if it's well built and channeled, such an individual had more value. See where the value flows from now.
Yeah.
The society, first, most importantly, first to his own life because he's fulfilled. 2 to his family, society, immediate society.
Yes.
Then his country, then and the world at large.
Yes.
Today, so many people from their little corner in the remote of sub-Saharan Africa, they had a connection with people overseas in far distances. They have to give lectures here and there, right from the comfort of their room. Why can they? What gave them that strength? It's because they discovered that they are grace in that field.
Sure.
And you know the irony is that most of them, you see, they don't necessarily be there. They don't need to be there to understand what to do. They are here. And they may not have seen anything about the curriculum of that place or the academic system, but they do it from wherever they sit, they are seated, and they have results.
Sure.
If you think it's easy, sir, someone who is not in that field, who has not been graceful, should attempt it. But most times we want to see it, like you said, we want to see the resources. People are so crazy and passionate about money. Quickly, I want to achieve this resource. In fact, I need this money. Don't put the end result first. Learn the means to the end, and the end will justify the means. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much for being part of this episode. I hope, let's have your comments, let's have your views. Send in your questions. We will love to attend to your questions. Any contribution, any observation, we are open for it. Remember, this is just a journey. We are going somewhere. Thank you. See you in the next video.